Your number one team for spring is going to be.
North America is sick when it comes to League of Legends, and I intend to fix that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kings of the Rift, your source for competitive League of Legends news and opinions. So, what we're going to do today is we're actually going to look at the 2024 spring split, and we're going to rank the teams from 1 to 8, because as we saw in our last video, 2 videos ago, whatever it is now, basically the league has been shut down to only 8 teams, not 10 like it was before. You kind of can take a look at that video. I'll probably put a little like badge button thing up here, linking to that video there, where I kind of talk about how I feel about it. But it's still good. I like to see the teams that we have going right now, and yeah, I'm gonna rank them for you guys. So I think what we'll do, and what I've done in the past, is I've always ranked it from the bottom up. Basically, just an easier way to kind of do it and kind of build that suspense, really, right? So one of the things that I'm gonna do here is just kind of, I'm just gonna like tell you guys why I feel the way I do about these teams here, and why I feel like they're in this spot. I know a lot of folks, they'll just put it out on Twitter or they'll put it on wherever, and they'll just be like, ah, yeah, this is the team that I'm thinking. And this is why I think they're going to be first, or this is why I think they're going to be eighth, or whatever. But I'm not feeling like I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to sit here and tell you guys what really makes me think that this team will be eighth, or that team will be first, or somewhere in between. So I think we're going to start here at number 8. We're going to deal with Immortals. I feel like Immortals is just going to be 8th because their team doesn't seem that like transformative. I've said this a little bit when if you guys ever saw the videos about the all you need to know about whatever teams on TikTok or on YouTube Shorts here, and one of the things that I said was that Immortals just didn't seem like they had the juice. They really didn't have what it takes, I personally feel, to to really get kind of everything going in the extra competitive team that we're working in right now. They just don't have what it really feels like is going to be a good team. They have Castle in the top, Armeo in the jungle, Mask, Tactical, and Ole. It seems like kind of a middle of the pack team on a good year, like when we have 10 people or 10 teams. But with just 8, I mean, it would be, I would say, 8th. Normally, in a 10 team, 10 person there. I don't know if I would go to maybe putting them on 10th if there was 10 teams. Obviously, we'd have to figure out whatever was in the other 2 teams. But I just don't feel like they really have what it takes. I could be completely wrong when it comes to the way that Mask and Castle play. But just seeing that they kind of are coming in here almost as no names. Like, some people know them, obviously, but if I would have heard of them, I feel like I would have been a lot more comfortable with seeing them actually take take roles that we could easily have given to NA players. I think if you put Licorice in the top lane here instead of Castle, I think you actually look pretty decent. Mid lane. I mean, what are the mid lanes like that we actually do have that are kind of out there right now? I don't know. You could bring Evolved in. You could bring someone from. You could bring Harry from former Team Liquid. You could put him in. You could put him in there. He was good. He wasn't great, and that's why they brought in APA. But he could do pretty well, and I believe he's worked with Armeo before. Like, I just feel like you could construct this team a little bit better. I think it's still the allure of Korean mid laners, Korean top laners, we see what we get from Korean top laners when we look at people like Summit, who does great until he doesn't, and then you have Vikla, like who just did great until he didn't. And then it was the same with like MNS. I know MNS wasn't. I mean, he is Korean, but he's not. He wasn't like directly from Korea and all that jazz. But the same way, great until he wasn't. And this is what's going to happen right here. It's going to be short lived. Castle and Mask are going to either start off really hot or they're going to have like one pop off game and everyone's going to be like, they're the future, they're going to be so good. And then they just don't. I think that's really something where we just got to. I don't know. I think that's why I'm going to put Immortals at number 8. All right, so for number 7, this one's going to be kind of interesting because I actually think this team could be decent, but I just think that the rest of the teams are at least a little bit better than this team in general. And it's going to be Shopify Rebellion, the old TSM. I just see them as maybe like not working up to what they should. I just feel like it's just not really going to work. We've seen Boogie play before. We've seen Insanity play before. If this team gets higher than 7th, if they break into the top 4 or something like that, it's going to be on the back, I believe, of Insanity. He did great last summer and I believe last spring too, where he was just able to just completely take the games on his back, with Boogie, supporting him and all that. So it was great. It was amazing. But I think it'd be kind of hard pressed to see, just with like B-Boy, who is I mean, yes, he's Korean technically, but he's coming from LLA, or he was in LLA, but now he was in like what was it, Brazil there for a while. It'd just be interesting to kind of see where that actually stands. I mean, you could just have, if you really wanted to, you could have just put Wild Turtle in there, just as it is. Just Wild Turtle and Zazel instead of B-Boy and Zazel. I don't know. I don't know if that would be better. I mean, Wild Turtle should really, I think, be retiring. He's with the group of Bjergsen, Dyrus, Doublelift, all that kind of era. Not saying, if he's still playing well, great, keep him there. I'm old as well, so I'm glad to see that he's actually in the reserves right there in the subs. So I think it'd be interesting, but I don't see them getting much higher than 7th. So then we go into number 6, and that's going to be Dignitas. I think Dignitas could be pretty decent. We saw a bit of it last year with Rich actually kind of doing well. He wasn't transformative for the team, really. There was a couple games, I think it was on Cassante, where he was just insane. And then you just ban it away, and that's it. But hopefully that works. Hopefully in the future he's able to figure out other champions rather than just Cassante or something like that. And he's able to make it work. I guess him and Dove have played together. Rich and Dove have played together in the past. Great. If they can make that work together and they can really facilitate XU and Rich just popping off, that's great. Tomo and Isles, I mean, they're a bot lane. Isles is a decent player, but I think Tomo, he really wasn't anything that really just like, he wasn't a big star. Yes, he's native talent and all that, which is great, but he just didn't seem like he was really, like maybe on the same level. He just didn't seem like he was, like he's not on the same level as Berserker. He's not on the same level as FBI, or as, like just really much, like it doesn't seem like there's he seems like he's a step down. I don't know. I mean, that's one of the reasons I think why I really put them at number 6 here. They could be alright, but they probably won't be. So at number 5, this hurts me to say, but it's going to be 100 Thieves. And the reason why I'm putting 100 Thieves here is just because I don't know how like how they'll actually work together. I don't see the team kind of working out the way it should, the way they want it to work out. Sniper's aggressive top laner. He always has been. That's kind of his thing. It's the whole thing of that of his whole clan. Being Viper and Sniper, and then I forget who their last brothers is. But regardless, they always play very like aggressive, strong champs, where they're going to be the carry and all that, and that's great. But in pro play, you can't play that without being completely targeted by the enemy and just being shut down. So you have to then make another part of the map actually make sense. Now River is good at kind of like swinging back and forth and being able to go top lane, get him ahead, go bot lane, get them ahead, back and forth. But how much is River gonna have to do that really, kind of pushes forward, the rest of the team? Quid, we didn't see, I don't think, enough of him for me to really make a decision on him. But he just didn't seem okay. Like, it literally seemed like just every game they threw him on his ear and they were like, "Here you go, kid, and just play your games, get your experience with double lift, and you're good." But I don't know, just stay here, don't really do much, sit here and farm up all that. And Quid just didn't seem like he was really an impact player. Meech and Ayla in the bot lane. Meech, I've heard, is good. I don't know if he's going to be amazing. Like, he was the best, if not one of the best in NACL. But that's NACL. You're playing up against people who aren't as strong as the, berserkers, as the. I wouldn't even put Eon in that spot. But, you're not playing up against the level of berserker. You're not playing up against, FBI. You're not playing up against, like, just those top lane, not top laners, but those top tier laners there. So I don't know. I could see it going. I could see them going higher. Definitely, if the meta suits them right, it could definitely be something that would really work out. Then we also have in fourth here a team that I really do like, but I don't see it doing amazing. Is FlyQuest, actually. I really like this team, like I said. I like Whippo. Whippo's a great player, great. He's great for the whole like scene and everything like that. He's very smart. He knows what he's talking about. He really is. And the thing is too, he's able to like change. Like, I've seen him play with. I believe he's played with the LS, or he's been coached by LS, and he steps up and he says, "Hey, no, like, this I think is the reason why we're doing stuff, or this is the reason why we should do this instead of that." And he's smart about the way he actually plays the game. So I think he'll be pretty good in top lane there. He also could just get steamrolled by some other folks. I feel, but he knows how to like lose gracefully. He has a lot of weird picks, so that could work as well in his favor. So that would be nice. But you have Whippo, you have Inspired. Inspired is one of the best junglers that we had. And last year he just didn't get picked up for whatever reason. He should have been picked up last year. That definitely he shouldn't have sat on the bench, basically. Then you have Jensen in the mid lane, which this is where I think my kind of stuff starts to fall apart here. Jensen has been great in the past. The last time he was great was when he was on Team Liquid, and even then he was towards the end of his greatness there. When he went Dignitas, he wasn't the reason they were winning games. He was the reason why they were maybe like even in games, but he wasn't the reason that they were winning. They had that whole like basically winless stretch there. I believe it was back last spring, and they were just Jensen was there. He couldn't get anything going. It just wasn't working. So I could see that happening coming up here. I don't know. Like, not them going winless, obviously, but I could just see Jensen not being very, like, working with it. Inspired being so strong. I mean, he could be supportive. He could help out, Bwipo, or Inspired or something like that. Play his control mages. Try that out. Control mages are really strong right now, so that would be good. I think that'd be a good thing for him to play. But that's why I put it fourth. I mean, you have then Masu and Busio. Busio, he was alright. I'm not a huge fan of Busio. He played with Double Lift, which was great. But I don't think he really made much of a difference. People like to chat, oh, Busio's great, but like, I didn't see much of him. The first time I really ever saw him in lane, I think they swapped Azir bot lane to, I think it was Azir, like, Varus or something like that they played, and it got completely stomped on, and we're like, okay, so don't play Azir bot lane, or a support. So, just a thought here. But I think really just, like, I've never seen Masu before. I don't know his, play styles and everything like that. If he can take over the bot lane, I think it'll be great. Which is why I put them only fourth. They're not going to be, I don't think, a knockout of the park, but they're in the top half. They look like a good team. I think they'll be carried by Bwipo and Inspired here. But that's it. So in top three, we have in third, Team Liquid. So Team Liquid has kept most of their parts the same, which I think honestly will favor them, and that's one of the reasons why I'm putting out to this point. They kept APA, Yeon, and Core JJ. I say one of the worst spots that they had was actually Yeon. He was decent in the regular season, but then when it came to Worlds, he just wasn't up to par. So I don't see that really, like I just hope it changes here. I hope he's still good in the regular season and all that, but he just really wasn't top of the table there when he was playing. Obviously, Core, great player, great leader. You have APA, who I think he's learned a lot since last split. Fingers crossed that he has, because he needed to for a couple different things. And then you have in the top lane and jungle, you have top lane Impact, which Impact coming back to Team Liquid, he knows how they, how the coaches and everything want the game to be played. Obviously, it's with a new parts around him, but Impact is one of the greatest players in NA history. I definitely feel. I still remember back to the days when he was on Cloud 9, and he was the sword to Ray's shield on, because they had a swapping top laners back and forth, Ray and Impact. And Impact was the guy who was like, I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna kill you. It's literally where the meme top die come from. And I love it. I love that whole stuff. And then in the jungle you have Umpty. I don't exactly know how to say his name, but it seems like Umpty is actually doing really well. He speaks English, like, I guess, really well from like what I've seen in content. I am a Team Liquid fan, as you guys can probably tell here. But I think it seems like they're going pretty well. I've seen APA and Umpty together. I haven't seen a lot of stuff from the other teams where, this new team or this new player that we brought in, we're going out and having dinner with them, or we're chatting and we're doing this. Champs Q, has seemed interesting watching all that stuff. But yeah, I got Team Liquid going third. And this is just, I think, for regular season, not like for playoffs and finals and stuff like that. Once we get to those points and everything, we'll definitely do that. But right now, it just doesn't seem like that's really where I want to go. And then you have, for number 2, you have NRG. And it's kind of a hard decision to make between 1 and 2. You guys probably now know what number 1 is if you're paying attention. But number 2 being NRG, they kept basically the same roster. They actually upgraded when it came to their support, I feel. So that's great. Ignar was okay, but he was just the engaged guy. He was just like, all right, this is what we're doing. Where Huhi, I think, actually has really done well in the last little couple of years, especially with Golden Guardians popping off the way they did. Especially in like MSI when they were there, like it was awesome to see. Um, I really like the team though. It looks good. It's the same team that won the summer here. You got dope look contracts, Powerfax, FBI, and then you add in Huhi. Huhi's great. I think this will be a fun team. FBI is up there as one of the best, one of the better ADCs that we have in the league. So I definitely think that could be something that does well. I would like to see where the meta takes these guys. Doka can play some stuff that's a little bit more aggressive, or he can just play tanks. I mean, he does do both. Contracts, I think, needs to get a little bit of confidence. I think his, the win in finals and everything was great, but then he got kind of knocked down when it came to Worlds and everything. So get your confidence back up. He's a very confidence-driven player. Palafox, I feel like he just doesn't give a shit. He's like, whatever, like we're good, we're doing our stuff. But I think Contracts needs to get a couple wins under his belt, and then he just keeps rolling along, and he's good to go. But I think it should be fun. I think there should be a good number 2 team. Probably take a win or two off of maybe Cloud9. I don't know. We'll see. But in the grand scheme of things, your number one team for spring is going to be Cloud9. If you have been paying attention, you would have already known that. You just kind of take a list and you just mark off the names as you go on, right? And Cloud9 I think is going to be number 1. I know it's not a very fun answer to say, but I think they're going to be number 1. It's just Fudge, Blabber. They're great, especially domestically. Fudge is able to basically lose all game and then just eventually be like, oh, we're winning now. Like, this is what we're doing. I'm winning. Like, I wasn't in this game at all, but now I'm winning on side. I killed you once, twice as Renekton, and now the game's over and we're good. He's able to do that, and it's super frustrating as a fan of a different team. Then you have Blabber, probably the GOAT jungler in NA, maybe followed by like Xmithy, but he's gone now, all that different stuff. Santorin was up there, obviously, too. But still, it was good. Then you have JoJo, Berserker, and Vulcan. That's just a crazy bot side. JoJo being huge, playing really well in the past here. I would love to see what he's going to be like in Cloud9. See if he's going to be able to fit with the systems that Cloud9 has. But if he does, and if he can, it's great. I feel like, maybe his, I don't want to say his ego necessarily, but maybe his pride maybe gets in the way of, doing great. If he's like, I play this certain way, I do this kind of thing, whatever, and then they come in and say, actually, this is how we're playing the games, maybe that causes an issue, but, I mean, I could just see JoJo being like, well, I want to really win, so let's just, I'll follow what you're saying. He wants to get back to the top. He wants to figure stuff out. He needs to do it. Then you have Berserker and Vulcan, who are just going to be insane. Berserker is usually really great. I think he's been clearly number 1 in the ADC department for at least probably a year, if not a little bit more. I forget exactly when it came in, if it was spring of last split or last season, which maybe it was 2 springs ago. I don't remember. When they brought in LS, this is when Berserker came. And then Vulcan Vulcan's Vulcan. You can't really say much. I could see Vulcan being really good and being on his, what was it, his Evil Geniuses, where he was just cracked and he was just doing amazing. But I could also see him being, to the point where he is, or he was on FlyQuest, where he just kind of wasn't a factor. where he was just losing games and just not playing well. I could also see him at that point, and I don't know if I want to see him at that point. Like, I want to see the best League of Legends we can, and if he's able to make it where he's number one again, I think that's great. I definitely think it is. But I think in general, Cloud9 should be a very fun team to watch. There's not many teams that are going to be able to kind of stand toe to toe with them. I feel like they literally have best in slot in their whole team. Maybe you could say you could swap out Vulcan for somebody. Maybe you could swap out Fudge for somebody. But in general, I think you just have the best players in slot. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take a look at we'll go 8-1 once again. Here, just as a little bit of a recap, we have number 8 Immortals, 7 Shopify Rebellion, 6 Dignitas, 5 100 Thieves, 4 FlyQuest, 3 Team Liquid, 2 NRG, and number 1 Cloud9. And honestly, that's my thoughts, guys. That's on, like I said, it says opinions there. Is my opinion. What do you guys think? What is your opinions here? Do you think my list is bad? Do you think it's good? Do you think that I need to go, eat shit? Like, tell me. Tell me what you want. Go in the comments. Tell me what you think. You guys had no issue doing it on the junglers little guide that I did there, talking about these 5 tips that you need for the 4 tips, 5 tips, whatever it is, 4 tips. When it comes to playing in the jungle, you guys had no issue telling me what you liked, what you didn't like in that, which is great. I like that you guys do tell me and everything. So let's just keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. Tell me what you guys think about these lists in the bottom. Give me your lists. If you think that mine is ridiculously far off, follow me on Twitter. Like, literally tweet me on Twitter and be like, yo, or X, whatever it is now, whatever you call it. If you call it X, come on. If you're on Twitter and you're like, hey, actually, Team Liquid's going to be number 8, because screw you. Great. Let me know. Like, I want to know, guys. Come on. It could be. I don't know. Who really knows? We'll know starting on Saturday. This coming Saturday, I'm so excited that we're getting League of Legends back. I've been pulling my hair out, even though I have more hair than ever. But I've been pulling my hair out, wanting League of Legends back, and it is coming back. I'm so thankful. I am full of gratitude for League of Legends coming back, and we're actually doing stuff, very new stuff. Thanks to Mark and the league for just making this work. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.